Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be having a look at James Bond when it was first ever released on DVD. Now that wasn't actually in the UK, they were released in these amazing beautiful box sets in America. So these are actually NTSC copies, and I remember buying these, getting them imported when they were released, and they are absolutely fantastic. And around the time that these were being released, there was a lot of the stars who were still around at the time doing signing sessions and things like that at the shows. So I took the opportunity to get lots of the sleeves signed up by some of the actors and directors and things that were involved in the production. So I think these will make quite an interesting video. So there's 3 box sets releasing all the films that were available at that time, and that's what we're going to have a look at today in this video. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. All right then, so here is the very first of the 3 box sets that we're going to have a look at today. Now I remember, it's hard to imagine, but you know, best part of 20 years ago now, when these box sets first got released, DVD was a new thing, and I couldn't wait after having years of dodgy old video copies and then the rather expensive massive Laserdisc copies to finally be able to get really nice high quality 5.1 Dolby DVD prints. And I was absolutely gutted that they weren't going to be released in the UK. Now at the time I used to read this magazine which is called Video Watchdog, and I saved a couple of issues because they reviewed the James Bond DVDs as they were released. Now let's just have a look and see exactly when this was. March 2000, so yeah, just under 20 years ago was when these came out, and this was when DVD was massive, and it was, you know, prior to the days really of you know, massive amounts of people buying on the internet. Obviously this is how I got mine, was I imported them from Amazon in the States, and you know, got them sent over here, but I couldn't believe that they were going to release them in America first. I was a bit gutted. If you do ever come across these, there's 2 magazines, and they reviewed them. They reviewed the second batch a bit later. They are absolutely fantastic. Video Watchdog was a real sort of cult magazine looking at new releases or sort of niche DVD releases. And the James Bond article formed the backbone of these. As you can see, it's absolutely fantastic, filled with information on every single movie. So they do come highly recommended. This is having a look at the Criterion James Bond Laserdiscs, and obviously virtually all the content that was on the Laserdisc did eventually get transferred to the James Bond DVDs, and you know, that does come across. And as I said, these are perhaps the very best article ever written on these box sets. So just throwing those in now. If you do get the chance to get these 2 issues of Video Watchdog, they are highly recommended. So it's number 57 and number 68. So when the box sets came out, it was a little weird. They didn't release the films in order. There was like a few Connerys, a few Roger Moores, and a couple of the later ones. However, once I got all 3 box sets, I then put them into chronological order. So we'll just slip the first box set out now, and then we'll have a look at the actual DVDs in order. So starting with Dr. No, and obviously most of these are single disc, and they come with the booklet as well. Really nice sort of lavish production. So you got the days that this is when you would get like sleeve notes, and obviously you just don't get this now. This is what we miss with everything being on demand and streaming. You don't get this sort of stuff. Now, believe me, I've not saved very many of my original DVDs and videos and that. I've saved them more from a historical or sort of a collector's point of view. But these Bond ones certainly weren't saving because they're just so good, you know. So from Russia, with love. I said on the back they give you all the sort of extras that are included. And there's so much good stuff on these. It was just incredible working your way through them, seeing a lot of these, the added documentaries and special features, and listening to the commentaries for the first time, because I didn't have all of these on DVD or sorry, on Laserdisc prior to this. I had a few. I had some of my favourites. I've still got some of my favourites, like on Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is my favourite Bond of all, on Laserdisc still. A beautiful copy of that one. You Only Live Twice here. Goldfinger. You see the list of extras on these was fantastic for the time. Diamonds Are Forever. And then On Her Majesty's. This one's signed by George Lazenby along the top there. Got to meet George at an NEC show very early on. When was this? Perhaps, I don't know, early 2000s, 2001, something like that. And I took the opportunity to get a whole load of stuff signed at the time. So that's the first set over there. Then set number 2, chronologically, is this one. So it says volume 2 on the actual box here. But as I said, it didn't actually come with the films that were in it. They were sort of mixed up again. But we'll go through them in order. So we've got Live and Let Die. Man with the Golden Gun. This one's got a couple of signatures on the front. This has got, I don't know if you can see that, Burt Eklund. That was done in 2005, and Maud Adams on that one. This was in between the two, so look at this. It's actually sealed. I have a funny feeling that this was some postcards that sort of came with it, promotional postcards, so I'll leave that as is. Spy Love Me. This one's signed Richard Keel, Jules. As I said, these chaps were around doing the rounds of these sorts of collectors' fairs back in the day, and I took the opportunity to get stuff signed if I could. For Your Eyes Only, this one's signed by John Glenn, who was the director of For Your Eyes Only, as I recall. Really good director. Did some of my favourite ones. Moonraker. So this is also signed. Richard Keel as Jules, and Lewis Charles Holly Goodhead signed that one. And Octopussy, which is also signed by Maud Adams. So most of that box, almost everyone's got a signature on, bar Live and Let Die. I'm not sure why, because I know some of the Live and Let Die cast at these shows. Now the last one in the series, volume 3 here. So we've got View to a Kill, one of my absolute favourite Bond films. I love Christopher Walken as the bad guy, and Patrick Macnee as well. This one's also signed by John Glenn, the director of that one. Living Daylights, the first Timothy Dalton. Absolutely love the two Dalton films. I really do. I think I like them so much because they're so close to the Ian Fleming originals. I think that's probably why I like the Dalton films. They're absolutely fantastic. License to Kill there. This one's really good. It's got some, because this is quite a troubled filming of this particular film, and that is recounted on the DVD set. Tomorrow Never Dies. As I said, by the time these had all come out, not even a single Bond DVD was available in Britain to buy. This was the only way to watch it. You had to have like a a multi-region DVD player which would play American ones as well as British, and import them, which is what I did, and I'm so glad I did. Obviously I've got them on Blu-ray today, and I've also got digital copies, but back then this was the only way you could get them. And then World Is Not Enough, that was the most up-to-date film at that time when this one came out. Fantastic stuff. And just for the sake of completeness, and also filed away with these, was my copy of Never Say Never Again, which is also an American import. I never did get around to getting the 60s Casino Royale for some reason, but I believe that's also the first release of Never Say Never Again. Now, just putting these all together, I'm just wondering if they fit together like some of these sets sometimes do. And unfortunately, they don't. There's no sort of, I mean, they do look lovely, but they don't. Is that fitting together? Don't really know. It doesn't look like it, but they do make rather a nice set, don't they? And I'd certainly love to get some more of these signed up if I get the opportunity. But there you go. I just thought you'd enjoy seeing those very first DVD James Bond releases from incredibly almost 20 years ago. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed looking through these James Bond DVDs. They certainly are fantastic. If you have enjoyed the video, do please give it a thumbs up, and do consider subscribing for regular James Bond content going forward. I have already filmed some James Bond videos, and I put a link to those at the end of this video. I've put them all into a playlist for your convenience. Thanks once again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.